Welcome to this new episode of The Disabled Life. The purpose of this podcast is to tell people how I live my life. The name I'm using on the podcast now is The Disabled Guy, because I felt that you needed to hear something as opposed to just my voice there. I'm a disabled male living in Florida with cerebral palsy. I'm here to tell you how I live my life and some of the volunteer work that I do and how I manage to do it with cerebral palsy. Without further ado, let's go into the episode. Well, let me start over again. I'm going to talk about an experience with a surgery that I had in the past when I was a child. I had a hip surgery. For those of you that don't know or have not listened to me in the past, I have cerebral palsy, and so I had surgery. What happened was, when I was a child, my hip was out of socket. That's the way I was born. So they had to replace my hip. Put it in socket. The way they did it is they took it, moved it, put it in there, physically took it, put it in there, and then they pinned it in. So I had to spend time in a body cast for 4 to 6 weeks. I had a weird experience at the hospital while I was in this cast. What happened to me in this cast is that we, as people, so one time I was in the hospital doing the surgery, and I was in a body cast. I was completely dependent on nurses and mom to help me move and to do all these things. I was flat. I was not able to sit or do anything. I was just flat. So I got tired of being in one position. I had to be moved by the nurses to show my mom how to turn me, which is no good. And my grandmother knew a little bit about that because she took care of a person that was bedridden. So that helped my mom. And it helped me also. So I get one night, it's late at night, past midnight I think. I wake up and I'm uncomfortable, tired from being in one position. So I tell my mom, so should we call the nurse? And the nurse comes. And she tells me that I have to get used to being in a position because my mom needs to do other things. My feeling is that she did that because she didn't want to turn me. So both my mom and I argued with her and said, look, do it. Turn me. Yeah, I'm tired. So she begrudgingly did her job. I say begrudgingly because she felt that, no. So whatever. So we did that happen. It was so interesting because then she did that. So I had pins and hips, and so the way I got taken home is I was put in the back of a pickup truck that my dad had with a camper shell. I'm going to say more about this camper shell in a minute. So I'm home, everything is fine. My sister is going to school, everything is fine. And she gets sick. And she gets sick with a virus. And I'm like, God, okay. I'm 12 years old? 12 years old, I believe. I think, less than 12. But I'm already understanding that if you get sick and there's a fever, you could have an infection. Okay, so I'm okay. I'm like, oh no, scary. So now I'll tell you a story. So I get sick and I have a fever. Oh no. So my sister gets this virus. So then she gets sick. We have this fever, and I get this fever, and we're like, oh no. My mom doesn't want to tell me about this because she doesn't want to scare me, but I am freaked out because I'm already knowing this. I'm not saying anything because I don't want her to know that I'm worried. Okay. So then, later in the day, my mom calls the doctor. I get put back in this truck, and I get taken to the hospital. My wounds get tested, checked, whatever they need to do. And the doctor says, "Oh no," we tell him that my sister had has a virus. So she says, no. He says, no, it's just a fever. So I go back home. Everything is fine. It's there with your pins, whatever. So then, I'll tell you a story. Somehow, I don't know what happened. Some of the things got softened. My mom got scared because she didn't know I had pins. That was a doctor's mistake. He didn't tell her that. So, so she called it again. No, don't worry, you have pins, whatever. So everything's fine there. So here comes a funny story. When they take out these pins, then all of a sudden the surgery is over. The surgery time is over. He says, okay, you're fine. Can't walk or anything. So then they cut my cast off, and they said it's time to take the pins off. He took like a ratchet, like a mechanic's tool, and he takes out these pins while I'm awake. And it's tugging on my skin. It's not hurting at all. It's just tugging on my skin. It's a little uncomfortable, but I hear this from the doctor. Are you okay, Mom? Because it looked like I don't know if I was on my side. So it looked like he probably was going to think he's going to pass out or something. So that was fine. Everything was okay. And then I had to go through. So then I had to learn how to walk all over again. So actually, I had to learn how to walk twice. I learned how to walk when I was 7 years old. My mom told me, and then I had to learn how to walk again after the surgery. But then now the problem with this surgery is that every time you have to go to therapy after surgery, it's painful like crazy. So I go to therapy, everything's fine. I start walking again, and I start walking. So I walk, and I'm okay. So this issue became really annoying because it was really bad. It was really bad. I'm gonna come up with two special episodes this week, not one but two. Because today, as of today's Monday. On Sunday is Mother's Day. I'm not going to talk about this one too much here yet until I record it, which I'm going to do right after. Which I'm going to do I'm going to record it Thursday when I record. I'm going to record it Thursday after I edit my next episode, which is a special episode based around mental health. With that, thank you for listening, and I'm going to give you my email, and please follow me you can follow me at the podcast. You can follow me at Apple Podcast, Google Podcast. You can also leave me a message if you want. If you're on Spotify for podcasters, you can if you have a Spotify account, you can also leave me a message, or you can email me at the following. My email address is ke4key@gmail.com. Again, email ke4key@gmail.com, or you can also follow me on Twitter at the Disabled Guy on Twitter. I also link most of my episodes there. With that, thank you for listening, and I hope you rate me, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Really, I hope you really did enjoy this episode. It is something that I'm proud to do for you, and this is a surgery experience, and I have a couple more. With that, thank you for listening, and I'll be back on Wednesday.